All right, today we have our creative live discussion. We have our 10 a.m. with Trey Pickett. Trey, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself? Let us know about who you are, how you got to where you are on your creative journey, and also what inspired you to start your businesses and what you do in the creative economy today.
Okay, so greetings. I'm Eugene Shelby Pickett III, aka Trey or Trey Vision. I am a choreographer, creative director, and really just honestly a overall creative. I right now am residing in what is Albuquerque, New Mexico, and or occupied Tiwa land. So just acknowledging the land we're on. We just acknowledge that those before us and those after us are here to honor and respect the land. And so, with that said, I am the founder of Vision LLC and or Vision Academy, which is our dance school. And I also am now the director and run and operate Black Cat Cultural Center, which is very awesome. I'm very passionate about that. And what brought me to my creative journey, I would say, to be honest, I saw a need, a void, and a space for people thinking outside of the box and trying to figure out creative ways to eliminate more of the red tape and give more opportunity where there was a little bit of lack and or pushback and keeping people from opportunity zones. So for me, what I really honestly set out to do was first to just actually create and build that so that I knew that my own kids would have something that would be inspirational, be something that they could look up to, that they could see a reflection of, and then also not necessarily find as many red tapes as I found in my own journey, but then also give the opportunities to people sooner. What I saw, and when I say people, I really actually mean, people within the Black, brown, indigenous communities, because what happens is typically there's somewhat of a gatekeeping and or blocking within the arts where um, some of either the people that come from certain demographics or backgrounds are blocked out from getting the same opportunities as early. So it means that the starting line is way over here and the other people have head starts way over here. So I was trying to close that gap so it would give somewhat more of a more fair race, and not necessarily saying that we haven't become great at adapting and being able to really catch up and do more with less, but to actually see, hey, how can we inside of this journey take everything we've learned, bring it to those who need it, and then actually help more people see the opportunities and create that. That was where it all really honestly started. And especially when you think that people are always telling you what you can and can't do and how many things um, you have to wait on, and the waiting becomes years, and the time it never can come back. So that's how my journey really honestly begun, was seeing that and wanting to do something about it. And at the same time, opening the studio really was born out of the idea that COVID was removing people from having spaces, and the idea really being that if people are willing to show up for me, I'm willing to show up for them. And it doesn't matter if we if we get scared about being involved in great things, it really it is uncomfortable to move into greatness. And so it started by really focusing on inspiring, creating, and bridging those gaps. And then I think the last part is that I was inspired to see how many kids looked up to me. When I was performing and touring, I realized I didn't know as many people. There's a lot of people that came up to me to always say, "Oh, you're so wonderful," but then I never really actually got to know everybody and know who they were. So bringing it back home to New Mexico was important for me because essentially it felt as though if you could see a superhero up close, or Shiro or De Niro or whatever you identify as, that it would actually change the narrative by people being able to reach out and touch you or ask you a question. And so for me, um, the inspiration came from seeing the twinkle in people's eyes, whether they're kids or adults. and even elders, and seeing the joy and the youthfulness return to them, and also to inspire people to move or to be greater.
I
Hopefully
definitely
that.
understand that. Yeah, no, that was everything. That was everything that we needed. I think that was good. Um, I'm still trying to wrap my head around. You said hero, shero, and what's the last one?
Oh, I said hero, shero, De Niro, or whatever you want to identify
Okay,
as.
okay. I thought you said Canero. I was about to say I'm trying to understand that one. That's a
Oh,
new one.
when I said De Niro, like, people will watch movies or people will go after De Niro, right? And it's like,
Yeah.
a little bit of that actor nature of like, oh, like Robert De Niro or any of these people that are actors. People sometimes identify as those and or De Niro, which
That's
to me
true.
is also like people getting that money. That's why I said or De Niro, like so that it can
Yeah,
kind
no,
of
I'm
have
with you on
a
that. I feel you.
have multiple
Hmm.
meanings there.
I feel you because I'm a Jamie Foxx myself. I'm trying to get that money too.
Oh my god, that's so funny.
um, so how has New Mexico creative landscape influenced your work and approach to collaboration? I feel like you kind of touched on that a little bit, right, by you saying why you wanted to bring it back. But in general, knowing New Mexico has a unique creative landscape and really old. I think you kind of spoke to something else too about barriers in it. So how has it changed your approach to thinking about collaboration since you've been back home and creating that space?
Well, what I've realized is that if you want to go fast, go alone, and if you want to go far, go together. So what I realized, just like in New Mexico has tattoo culture, and so I put it on my hand, like go far. That says far on my hand. And so for
Mm,
me, it's a constant reminder that New Mexico, especially, is about community. And without you being involved with community, you really aren't going to go very far. But if you want to go fast, you can definitely go alone, but it's not as fulfilling. And it may burn out, and you may burn out. But what I realized and I know to be true and why I enjoy being able to ask somebody, "What's your name again?" versus I see them 10 years later and they're like, "Hey, Trey." And I'm like, "I don't remember you." I'm like, "Hey, I just saw you at
mm.
the grocery store in New Mexico. I just saw you at the grocery store. What was your name again? I saw you last night at yada yada." I think that the opportunity and or what I find has really been a part of my understanding of the creative landscape is that in New Mexico, it's about building meaningful and lasting relationships. I think it should be in the world, period. But that has been my new approach to collaboration because it's those relationships that have been built that then help things move forward or help there be these opportunities that, for instance, you literally create something you never thought could happen. You never know who you're running into, you never know who you're giving information, you never really know. And it leads to the collaborations, it leads to, I mean, opportunities like getting grants that you may have never thought that you were actually talking to this person from this foundation, and then they wind up being like, "Yep, I'm actually on the board in X, Y, and Z, and I'd like to recommend that your application get boosted to the top of that lineup." Or it may be that essentially that just just you being seen, present, and accounted for gives people the opportunity to also say, "Hey, I'm a writer," or "Hey, I am an actual filmmaker," or whatever it is. And then because your talents, everyone has superpowers or talents, they intersect, then you wind up collaborating and making magic. And so if I have a stage and someone has talent, then it's an opportunity for collaboration and creativity to shine. And I think that the most beautiful part is that in this approach, I feel as though more is happening and it's more possible to bring just a little bit. It's like, hey, I have this little bit. What do you have? And it's not everyone trying to carry the most. It's everyone bringing what they have, and then that being the approach to making more happen.
I'm with you on that. It definitely. I see what you're saying, and that goes into what we talk about a lot is that creative ecosystem, right? The more you touch, the more people can be involved, the more they might create, and then you're creating more and more spaces for yourselves to be able to help elevate each other. And that's the point of like you said, if you going farther together, but also navigating that space. But also, I think one thing that you hit and a few others have hit is really to have making sure your business is based in community. I think feeling a need, right? Because and you feeling the need, the community going to come and support that as well because you giving them the value of what is something that was missing and things like that too. So that is something to also be conscious of being in the collaborative space and environment is making sure that you are doing something for a community, not just yourself. Because I think that's the other element too. Thinking about starting a business or
Right.
running an organization.
I definitely agree with you there because essentially, if you're in it for yourself, you may as well just go be a monk or go do something that's solely like on a mountaintop by yourself because people are a very interesting like being. You have to be in relation and you have to be like, really making these like it's almost like an investment, right? Even just a simple smile or a hug or a high five, that energy exchange is reverberating into more, and those negative energy exchanges do the same. And so to me,
Mhm.
I really agree with you because when it comes down to community, the most interesting and powerful part is that even if you have the most epic and great product, if people do not like you as a person, it sometimes may or may not matter, but it really does play a part when it comes into collaboration, right? Because there will
Mhm.
not really be any people that want to collaborate or do anything, but especially when it's a world that needs more community-based everything. I mean, community gardens, community awareness, community meetings. Like we're in a time where community is going to be the foundation in which to move forward and not only heal amongst people, but actually the world. Because I mean, looking at climate change, looking at the state of everything, it all starts on the ground level of people. And so to me, I love businesses that I'm like, oh yeah, so your son is the owner and he's the cook. Oh my gosh, that's wonderful. And you're standing in today, or when I go by, hey, I'm like, oh, so your son is at work and you're here to get the hay on the truck with me, and that's really cool. As family or as
Mhm.
community or as literally being of service in a way to where people are working together to achieve moving forward. And I think to me, that to me is like village. That to me is like tribe. That to me is like community, and that to me is it's an old way, but it's really actually the way that I feel as though life thrives. Life thrives when you buzz like a
Mhm.
beehive. I feel I feel
Mhm.
I feel even just the excitement grow when I'm in a room full of people that are all excited about the same thing, and it's not the same as when you're just there by yourself, like ooh, plotting and I'm gonna just make this happen for me.
Mhm.
This is not as exciting, You get to see the reaction of someone when they love what you're offering or what you just gave or shared or whatever your product is, or even just for me in this realm, like when I've put in a lot of work here at the theater just to see people shining on the stage, getting getting to win, or just uh, compete with people or just have fun or just show their talent. It actually can be breaking through things for them. And to me,
Mhm.
that their joy is my joy. And sometimes our sorrows are each other's sorrows. And to me, if we can have more joy in this life, then I feel as though our communities and honestly everything doesn't have to be based in joy, but it just expressing oneself honestly creates a chemical release that's great. So to me, I think that community needs these centers of coming together, these spaces that are safe,
Mhm.
and I'm here for it. What you think?
I think so. I mean, that's the thing. You gotta have space. You gotta have community. And I think that's the reality of it. And even thinking about that, what is a community or space or collaboration that you've been a part of that had a lasting impact on your business or community or yourself?
I would definitely say that participating in community block parties had a paramount and lasting effect because it created visibility, and not only created visibility, but it let us be in the bare, open, raw space of community at its finest, and it's the most honest space. You know,
Mhm.
there's no curtains, there's no mirrors, there's no anything to really disappear into. It's really just boom, here we are. This is the face value. And so at these block parties, I've really been able to see how it is that community witnesses or watches and identifies you and then begins to show up more as they see you consistent. So I think that block parties were one major sense of collaboration and also like a landing place to find a different way to connect, because at times we try to send out things or we try to, you know, hand people things or whatever, but to just be out in space doing what you do and people be attracted to the smells of the food, the sounds of laughter, the joy of the vibrations that the DJ and the sound system is putting out. Oh, what is that jumper doing over there? Oh, what are those cars doing? Where are all those vendors? Oh, they have these amazing things. I think that all of that in the raw open space, it I think that has been like one of the most wonderful collaborations because it's one that's so simple yet so impactful. And then I would say one other collaboration that I think has been really epic and wonderful and marvelous and everything has honestly been beginning the journey of not only doing for profit work but also finding this idea of like what it is to get grants or to actually have fiscal sponsorships, those kind of collaborations with people that are interested in supporting something beautiful that folks are passionate about, like the Jubilation Foundation from
Mhm.
California, who uh, had a nomination come down, and they nominated us all the way from California. That was so impactful and beautiful, and that started a journey of so much more hope because I had never seen anyone be willing to give um, money in that way and just be excited to see what we would do with it, and then to then land McCune and have that love and that expression of like them being willing to
Mhm.
hold us in a way that's helpful and mindful of like people need help sometimes to go further. Just all of those things as far as block party community, as far as organizations helping like and collaborating to bring this work to people or enhance it. Those are the most powerful and wonderful things that I've been able to see. And even just as simple as collaborating, for instance, with people like yourself that are in the economic development department and seeing how we can do more and where are our holes and what we can do. Like all of this is what I'm finding to be the most wonderful, the most impactful, the things that I'm excited about and create a different sense of awareness, visibility, and sometimes it's a little scary, but when you just step out there, it's courage that overcomes these obstacles, even if it's just in your head. To me, it's a beautiful thing, and that's kind of meaningful collaboration that I feel the most impactful about.
That's what I'm talking about. Honestly, it done went all the way to California, so I feel like that's a lasting collaboration, really, and being able to show like it's other. I think a lot of times, we it's not that we're not trying to focus on New Mexico, but I think New Mexicans and New Mexican creatives, especially creative businesses and organizations, have to really think about what other organizations can you partner with inside and outside, right? Because it is other people that are willing to support you outside of just your industry area, outside of just your state, outside of just your county. So, excuse me, that is something to really have to be open-minded about, especially in this day and age. So this helps me to go into this next question very well.
Can
What
I add
uh-huh,
one thing, Arlen?
uh-huh,
When you said that, it made me think of our talent show, Heart and Hustle. And to be
mm-hmm,
honest, I've had such an amazing collaboration with Light Red. It has been so fantastic. A lot of the things I wanted to do with the talent show or creating visuals or doing those kind of things, it's just been like, oh, I don't know if I have time to do all of that. And all the things I didn't have either time for, or didn't know if I would be able to do. It's like collaborating with people that can step in and do the things that you either don't have time for or can do better than you, is so epic because to me, I'm like the community growing within just Heart and Hustle, the talent show. That has been one of the most wonderful, meaningful collaborations as well because seeing how we've started to learn to work better and be in that space of saying, hey, we all are these entities. How can we make one thing get better and better? That's been beautiful as well. So you're absolutely right about finding that way to work with other organizations, other people. It creates more impact.
Yeah, 100%. Shout out to Life
Yeah.
Red on that one again. And shout out to Heart and Hustle because yeah, I was in there. That's something else that people can see on other platforms. But but that was
Yeah. And you
a
crushed
wonderful
it. You crushed it.
collaboration as well.
Yeah.
But yes, no, I think that's a good example of something that's showcasing and highlighting talent as well. In a space where you would think that we have a lot of platforms in Albuquerque to highlight, but you do see that it is pretty scarce in certain performance areas and even for certain performers and where they're at in level, right? It's not skill level as much as it's where they want to be with certain crowds. So I think
Right.
it's a wonderful platform to be able to see youth, right, to adults, right? You have the youth coming up right this month,
Yeah, we
so
have
might as
the
well go
youth
ahead and
this
shout
month.
that out one more time. Go ahead and shout out the youth. When does the application close and where can they find that application?
So it's out now. You can find Heart and Hustle on Instagram and go ahead and as soon as you find the Instagram, the lovely QR code is on there to scan and apply and submit. The best part is that this one's for the kids. It's coming up on June 28th, and it'll be right here at Black Cat in the theater. It's a wonderful process, and again, it's promoting not only people's talent but also developing talent and giving people those opportunities. This also is an opportunity for vendors, and it's a great thing.
Yeah. And you gave me another good segue. So, like we were saying, being able to find Heart and Hustle and finding Black Cat and Visions Academy, you can find them on Instagram. This day and age, we are in a point of where technology is advancing, right?
Right.
Technology plays a different role when it comes down to businesses, when it comes down to even communication, like we're doing today on Zoom, and when it comes down to social media and AI. So, what role do you see technology like social media, AI, virtual events, other things like that playing live streaming? I will even say that's a new thing. Playing and fostering collaboration in this day and age, but also what other opinions you may have on technology and how it plays into just the creative space overall or for your business.
So I will say that AI and my opinion on it. At first, I AI, social media, I really leaned away from it because, I grew up very old school and think in New Mexico or a lot of places around the world, especially in rural areas, people are a lot more traditional,
Mm-hmm.
especially in the sense that, when you start getting out in the country or on the res or like, in the certain neighborhoods and and everything like that, what winds up happening is certain internet access changes, right? Like the
Mm-hmm.
further out you go into the mountains, even, you have less of a connection to Wi-Fi. Maybe you have a greater connection to land, but less connection to the Wi-Fi, which is also where more people are flowing and circulating now. And so what I find is that now AI and the wonderful world of social media is almost like a new partner that if we can learn to have more trust and willingness to interface with it, it can be a partner that can recruit greater return with a lower buy-in per se.
Mm-hmm.
And so it feels weird and it feels like a kind of a thing that I don't know, maybe some people dive head first into it. Me, I kind of like to look at it and walk around it a little and see, how's this working? Is that all right? But it actually expands and gives more opportunity than we think because I mean, there's kids blowing up on social media and utilizing AI to code and using AI to partner with to make things happen faster. And I think that somewhat of what I'm seeing is that AI is not necessarily going to take over, but it's something that is highly more intelligent than 10 people. It has access to a worldwide web of knowledge. And I mean, granted, to me, what if the internet went down? What then? What if the grid went down? What then? So I'm one of those people that always leads with preparedness rather than just going where the crowd goes. But if the crowd is on this kick of social media platforms and also utilizing this virtual meeting space and bridging the gap way from Africa to China to Korea to
Hmm.
Timbuktu or whatever it is, people are bridging these gaps by utilizing internet as a friend. It's like back in the day in school, we used to have pen pals and we could write someone way far away. We would send a letter and wait for a long time to get it and then get it. And you're like, oh, they wrote me. But now it's like the internet makes it instant. It's like, you can sit there and wait for a reply or you can check it in 10 minutes, but you know that it's going to be more instant than waiting a whole month for that letter to come back, right? And
Oh, yeah.
some people, some creatives, I mean, sometimes it may be me too, but some creatives we may get a little slower because we're doing so much. But I will say the internet is simply faster, and so the Internet of Things is almost like we have to find a balance, and it can be a great opportunity and a great thing to be like, hey, you know what? I was able to fast track doing my my formations by using AI to help me consider what it was that I was going to do with my choreography or
Hmm.
my formations or whatever, just to bounce
Content.
ideas off, and then it makes suggestions. Now, obviously, it's making suggestions based on so many probabilities, but we still have a mind and a way to feel as well, which makes what the AI is generating more human and not just leaving it to what is there. But I think that essentially AI and I don't know, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, there are things that I guess some of us that are slower to get with the program, um, they're there to aid and be like another partner, another tool, another way of tapping in with community. And um, it's sometimes weird. Some people are just epic with it. Me, I'm a little slower, but I think that I'm coming around. I'm like, oh gosh, I really think that technology is going to revolutionize art. The internet has already revolutionized connecting people around the world. I remember during COVID, we did virtual tours and we
Hmm.
did a lot of outreach with youth just online. But I also think that it again is about balance because I realized that a lot of the statistics, and you may be able to speak to this or know about this, um, and correct me if I'm wrong, but there was a lot of mental health issues during COVID based around the fact that people were just consuming and getting dopamine hits from the computer, from the laptop, from the cell phone, from whatever
Yep.
device, tablets, whatever it was, And when I said computer and laptop, I mean desktop, laptop, whatever ways of interfacing. People are getting more depression from more or less um, not having more human interaction. So I think it's all
Hmm.
about balance because again, it can throw far and pull in close, and it can also be one of those things where it's like, okay, cool, this is a way to connect and then invite these normal human spaces. So um, I think it's great, but I think it has to again have the balance because yeah, like I said, the mental health had I don't know if you would say rise or decline, but it basically got
Decline.
bad. And
Yeah.
and so like it got bad, right? Like,
Yeah.
we saw problems increase and rise, and we saw the health decline, and then we saw a rise of, oh no, what are we gonna do with the fact that people are in these spaces? So we started implementing at that time, like learning about more mental health and how we could refer and get people to 988 hotlines or anything to help with the mental health. But what
Mhm.
it, I would say, yeah, I think it's a good thing, but it needs balance. And I also sometimes worry that it may change people's ability to be in their human state, you know?
And engage. Now, you're right on that. Now,
Mm,
so the thing is that COVID did, and we still dealing with the effects of it when it comes down to isolation, right? I mean,
mm,
people still feel more isolated than ever in this day and age due to the fact of not missing that human interaction then and still not knowing how to engage through human interaction because we were locked down for almost 3 years, like 2.5 years, and if unless you were really on the underground, like meeting and eating and stuff like that, you were you were really kind of really in the house. And then knowing that most people were developing at that age, right? It was people were graduating college to high school. That's when you supposed to be really out and about. That's when your social parts are like when you're more social, but then you're stuck in the house. So we are still dealing with that. I mean, and I think that's where you see the rise in experience tourism and experience marketing, experience anything. Like more people are wanting to go and experience something more than they're wanting to kind of sit back and watch it, or
right,
it has to have an experimental element. So I always think like and I said this in the recording before, we always have to think about like it as a cyborg, right? Use the technology as a tool to help and enhance, but not in a way of taking over. Um,
right.
because when you take over, which I know some people who ask ChatGPT how they supposed to do what they supposed to do with their life. I can't go off of ChatGPT about that. I think that's a that's a me thing,
Oh man,
That's a
right,
person that I need to talk to some people. But the thing is that like we are kind of moving away from even the idea of like authentic education and certifications a little bit with it as well. So it is known we do have to reel some things back in, but for the sense of supporting and honestly even probably starting to gain knowledge. That's at least that's how I use mine. I might ask you to write a contract, but then I need to go back and know where to source. I always ask for my sources that it gives, so then I can go back and learn a little bit more, possibly, or something along those lines. Because you can't. It's just like it's like contracting somebody for it. You want to know a little bit because you don't want them to just steal your money.
right,
So that's kind of how I look at it with AI, social media technology. You need to know it a little bit so you at least know that you're not getting your money stolen, because other people are going to use it to the wheels fall off. Right now, people paying that $20 a month for ChatGPT and not worried about it at all because
right,
what they believe the payoff is, which is it's a big payoff if you use it right. And for creators who don't like doing business, it can help them manage or maintain some business parts. For somebody who could be busy, it helps you to kind of automate some systems to not have to worry about some things. But it just takes you to take that time, right? But it is like what you said. It is people who are kind of reluctant to it, like, oh no, hold on. Which I think exceeds that. Me too, not that this really relates to anything, but I'm reluctant every time a new console drop. They just dropped the Switch 2. I'm not worried about it until another year because I feel like everything that comes out with technology has to be vetted a little bit. So, you don't want to buy it and be the guinea pig because we're in that day and age where they'll sell you the test and you're testing it,
mm,
not and not sell you the full product. So that's another thing that kind of comes with it. So I do believe technology can be a good help in like what you're saying, bridging our gaps of being able to connect to a broader audience. I mean, TikTok right now, it can make you blow up, but it doesn't mean that all of them are going to come and buy your product, or all of them are going to come and go to visions and dance and pay memberships and or come and rent out or anything like that. It just means that you got good visible. But that's helpful. But
right,
it is about generating and generation and changing that into, if you need money, monetizing the people to know what value they're putting money when their money in. Giving you the value to know what value you have. And I think that's
Right,
the core point, going back to what we said about community already, and having your business in it. So
right.
my other question to you, and we're coming towards the end of our questioning. Um, how do you think creative businesses in New Mexico can work together to grow, not just individually, but collectively?
Oh, that's a very not just individually, but collectively. Um, I think it's associative linking that I'll use to help paint this picture. So I like the idea of utilizing, let's say, the Avengers, for instance, right? The
Mm-hmm.
Avengers are a group of powerful beings that come together to overcome some sort of great evil or obstacle, right? And in life and in business, what I see or what I'm realizing is that oftentimes, if you can get an alignment, right? An alignment, just like an alignment, boom, 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 or even here, boom, 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 or even boom, 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 boom. Creating that circle, right? Of people that are aligned and have like minds and maybe even concomitant relationships, can then build out faster, epic things. A great example would be Meow Wolf. Meow
Mm-hmm.
Wolf has a whole entire plethora of artists that then got into business, that then really started to branch into how do we make this happen. But then when they got out of struggle, they found a point, right? And this kind of ties in with the Avengers. They found a point where they overcame. And then when they overcame, they found a point when more things were affordable for what it was that they saw in their initial vision in the expansive sense, and then they added to the team, right? Like more people that had different skill sets and people that may have had their own businesses, but now they're working together to make something thrive. What I find is that when aligning with this idea that is great people and or great businesses that may not do as much alone but can do more together, like for instance, um as an artist or as a performer, I'm gonna look so much more epic or wonderful if a videographer, cinematographer that is knowing their craft, or even a photographer is able to get a hold of my abilities and see that through their lens and then share that with the world, than just my own nature of my own cell phone and my own ability, because then it's now these two things coming together, right? And I think that at times, even with that, like our favorite performers in the world, they collaborate with musicians, they collaborate with more visual teams, more sound engineers, more everything. It just becomes a big list. And what I think is that as far as I find myself interfacing with that question, it's almost as though finding the kind of people that you click with, align with, and it's not even necessarily forming a click, but it's feeling
Mm-hmm.
something right. It's feeling an energy to where you just know, like, oh, this feels great. And it may not be that you have to spend the next 10 years doing this. It could be that you are dedicated to creating a project or a proposal or whatever it is to achieve a mission together, right? And that mission then becomes an attainable, and inside of that attainable uh, becomes what I would say is generating assets and also creating or generating more leads. And so to me, it is cross pollination. Is coming out of like a I'm an island and being more like something more and more grand. And so I think from what I can see, the narrative of doing business alone is still like a platform of being a mom and pop, but doing business together, they call it B2B, right? It's like business to
Mm-hmm.
business. And if we can do more of that, then what happens is everyone's clients or clientele or people begin to cross pollinate or intersect and find commonalities and find common grounds. And so again, it's that vetting process, like you said. It's
Hmm.
that process of even getting to know people in a way that's like, do I like to work with them? And if so, then it creates a great synergy, and that synergy creates so much more energy to where everyone's like, "What's going on over there? I want to be a part of that. I want to check that
Exactly.
out." And and so I think synergizing and getting with people that you really buzz with, I mean, it's like creating a football team or a basketball team or even just literally a creative team. That team makes things so much more powerful, impactful, and it does help when you have people that come from different realms and different ways of thinking. I mean, my body feels greater with alkaline water. So somebody I want to make sure I'm a friend with and doing things with, someone that is bringing the water to the village. It's like
Hmm.
I want to I want to know the guy that this processing the meat and be like, hey, like, our village and community needs that. Basically, creating something based on what you are passionate about, then makes it all come together.
Yeah, creating all the key elements to be able to make a thriving community, right? Or ecosystem. And I think that's the point about it,
Wait,
right? You
say
gotta
that word
know
again.
you gotta make a thriving community, a thriving ecosystem. It's all
Yeah.
key points. Because if you don't think about it like that, you never know. And it's about asset mapping, right? Before and knowing who has that skill and not overworking them. It's putting them in a position where they want to be, right? Not
Mm.
not where they have to be. Because creators don't want to be doing nothing. I think that's the thing about it, right? But if we have, oh, but if you give us what we want, we'll show you we can be a part of it. But if you have us where we need to be, you ain't gonna see us that much when it is.
Wow.
I think that's just the
Yeah,
reality, right?
right.
Um, but now, what advice? And this is my last question before my last two questions. What advice would you give to creators who want to collaborate but don't know where to start?
Start. I think the hardest part is starting. Once you get a moment of starting, it's just like anything. It's brick by brick, right? And or not even brick by brick, breath by breath. How about that?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that as you do and as you try, it may not be as good as the first try. And you think of when we were babies, we couldn't even step, right? We were sitting
Mm-hmm.
there staring at the world, observing. And we went from being a watcher to a participant by trying. We fell so many times and never thought twice about it. We just fall and look and say, okay, I'm going to try it again, maybe cry and then get encouragement from everybody. It's okay. Get up. You can do it. And
Mm-hmm.
I think that essentially, uh, that is my advice. Try, just literally give it a breath. And then once you get your adrenaline to calm down, your endorphins to be where you need them at, like just really taking that breath, which life is so much better when you take in oxygen in a controlled kind of way, right? Like, stop
Mm-hmm.
panicking, just literally just controlling the mechanism. I mean, to me, I think that realizing that fear is human, and as soon as you can have the idea of stepping past fear, then that's where you find courage. And so my advice is just try, take a first step, take a breath, and dive in, and just, really just think of it like, okay, I'm gonna try this one time and I may fail, and I'm gonna try again, and I'm gonna try again, and then have the idea of one more time. People always tell me,
Mm-hmm.
Trey, you always are saying one more time, but then we do it 30 times, 100 times, so many times. And it's like, yeah, and guess what? By that next time that we do it, if we get it right, then maybe we'll pause. Or, if we get it right, maybe we know what we can do better. But life is a series of tries, and sometimes they're great, and sometimes they're misses, but nothing beats a miss but a try. And so, I say, get in the mode of trying. We all think we know everything, we don't. And eventually
Mhm.
when we can accept that failure may not be an option, but we have to fail forward. We fell as babies and we still fall as adults, and at times we have to pick ourselves up, dust ourselves off, and then try again. So it's just a let's keep trying, let's keep going, let's keep giving our best. We always give our best, even if that try is like today I only have 50%. Well, perfect. Let's use that. Let's use that 50, that 20, that 10. Whatever you have, do that, be with it. Try is everything, and it says so much because the world that is also human all around us realizes that every try we're making, when people see that, they're like, okay, they're trying, they're really going for it, and then it actually recruits people's hearts, minds, and spirits to be like, okay, they're really going after it. They really believe in what they say they believe in, and that's where hope is generated. And if we all keep
Yeah,
generating hope amongst each other, then the world is going to be seeing a better place because we're co-creating it. We're creating it together, the witness and the doer.
I like that. I think that's the thing. It's about putting one foot after the other, right? Stepping out
Just
there and stepping to the side when you don't know, and stepping up and saying how to the person that do. Because from there you are able to create the space that you want.
it you said something awesome, and then saying how to the person that does know, right? Like an ask is so scary sometimes, but just asking is okay. Like we don't have to know everything. It's okay to ask. It's okay to not know everything and just be like, you know what? I don't know. Help
Mm-hmm.
me. Show me. Teach me. I don't know.
100%. That's the question. That's the first question that should always be asked of why, how, and what. Really, I mean, you got to learn it.
Mhm.
So, what is one thing you want fellow creators to walk away from after today's conversation?
What do I want them to walk away from? Maybe walk away just breathing and taking deep, slow breaths and remember that whatever life is right now, we together are all going to be better tomorrow. Today is just another day, and all these days lead up to years, hours, minutes, and seconds. And the more that we take away from each day, the greater gratitude we have. And so, what I would hope everyone takes away, even myself, is just gratitude for another day, another opportunity to play, to create, to tap in, to feel and be human. And if anything, just take a little seed of hope and plant it and let it grow and share it. You got this. We got this.
I like that. Now, are there any upcoming events, opportunities, other or anything going on with your business organization that you would like other local creatives to know about and support? We did talk about Heart and Hustle earlier, so I mean you can definitely shout that out again. And
Oh,
uh,
right,
and
right.
where can we find you? And be able to know what we can do with some of your, because I know you do space rentals as well. So if you talk about that.
Right, right. Yeah, we do space rentals. We have theater space, we have dance hall, we have a dance studio. All of these spaces can be utilized for different things. They're multi-purpose. So essentially, if someone wanted to do their quinceañera, birthday party, after party, lounge, meet and greet, you name it. There hasn't been a wedding, but you could probably do that here too. It's a great place for our community to know it's another resource that again we try to work with people and have we're meeting you where you are so that it's a little easier to actually have access and make things happen. Even right behind me, we love doing things like photography and great opportunities for even mothers or fathers to come out and have photos taken. So for Mother's Day, there was a free photo booth where Black Men That Flowers, which is like the flowers behind me, did a free photo session for mothers here at the center. And I think there may be something for Father's Day coming up where they do or we do the same thing, kind of like photos for fathers. So that'll be really cool. And then at the same time, we have camps. If you want to check out any camps, they're great dance camps, kid camps, and great opportunities to get out to the land. Just check out Vision, check out Black Cat. You can find info, sorry, you can find vision at vaabq.com. And the best part about what we're doing this summer is if you're creative and you need guidance, you can also just come and talk with us. We'll be having more open doors all summer long. But also the cool thing is that this summer we're doing more block parties, more events. So just keep your eyes peeled. I would say that there's heart and hustle for the next 5 months before the finals. So tap in for a heart and hustle. There's $1,000 cash prize for the. I mean, it's growing. The pot is growing, so maybe more by the finals. But basically, everyone that wins is going on to the semifinals. They'll then compete against the other contestants that were in those other prelims, and the top five will go on to meet in the finals and be curated. That's top five from both vending and from performing to win a jackpot that's already over $1,000, and so that's an opportunity. And we have lots of, again, training camps, performances. We'll be performing at Juneteenth, which will be down at the Albuquerque Museum. We're bringing a piece that we've been cultivating, and is beautiful. It's going to be a great iteration inside of the museum. Right after the mayor speaks, it will be called "I
Mm.
Am Because You Are," which comes from the philosophy from Ubuntu, which essentially, is about reflection and showing, that like we exist because we are all here and in this together. It's going to be a beautiful piece. It is a beautiful piece. Like the elements of it, they really show more. And finally, if you want to reach out to us, we're here right in Nob Hill and located off of Dartmouth and Monte Vista. Come on by. We're right by Buffalo Exchange. But most importantly, if you wanna grow, we're a growth environment. There's everything from filmmakers that are always within the vicinity. We have an in-house group called Vivid Canvas that does cinematography, videography, photography, and our whole block is just swirling with creatives. And we're really interested in being a hub here, just not as us alone as an island, but as a community. And I would say that this summer we're again just doing a lot for people to engage in. So there'll be block parties, there'll be wonderful events like tonight. Actually, there's an event. I'm like, I'm forgetting about tonight. We have an event tonight. I'm like, wait a minute. We have an event tonight. Tonight, Rock the Block is coming through, and they're doing an after jam here. There'll be like some rap battles or open mic stuff. There'll be people enjoying just music. There's some DJs playing. It'll be in the dance hall here at 3011 Monte Vista Boulevard, Northeast, Albuquerque, New Mexico. That's here at Black Cat. It'll be really fun. And just again, it's always going to be more and more things. Our website is coming soon. We have the coders and computer people working on that, but you can always still find us on Facebook and in Black Cat. You can find Vision, and you can also find on Instagram and in Black Cat on Instagram, VAABQ on Instagram, and there's lots of cool things. I will say if people want industry level anything, modeling, their ability to pose for a camera, ability to walk, ability to pick up choreography fast, or even just learn choreography at a high level. We have a great industry level intensive where we have a celebrity coming out to participate in that this summer in July, I do believe that is, which is going to be a great opportunity. We have one of the top five from So You Think You Can Dance, and also
Mm.
really a really great and epic dancer who has like millions of followers and is coming out to participate and teach in the workshop as well, which is going to be awesome because we want to build up our community. So check out what we're doing. We here, and I'm really excited for the summer because again, everybody loves summertime. So let's have some fun, live our best life.
Summer, summer, summertime. That's what they said on the Will Smith album. Ah, oh, thank you so much, Trey, for coming in and being able to supply us with so much wonderful information when it comes down to just collaboration and creativity, your journey really how you became leader of the and now director over Black Cat Cultural Enterprises
Yes, yes, yes. Black Cat Cultural Enterprises and Doris here, Black Cat Cultural Center.
and Cultural Center, as well as Visions Academy. And I know I haven't been able to stop by myself, but I am planning on stopping by and be able to stretch and do my thing.
I saw that. I saw that. Well, something that's coming and we're getting ready to put out is we're going to have more just community-based classes popping out. We've done them and they've been wonderful. We were really trying to focus on building out more and helping more with the kids, but essentially we'll be having more of our ballroom offerings, more of our sound healing in the dance hall. We'll be having a lot more just dances from different kind of standpoints, country and this and that, just to give people their outlet, their space, you know.
Yeah.
But what you just said a second ago is why I was like, oh, there's more. Which we're getting ready to announce just a men's training group where it's
Okay.
not just dance, but it's just breathing together. It's doing again the stretching, the strength and conditioning, and then some movement elements. We had collaborated with Black Men's Flower Project to bring the somatic movement and healing practice, and that was great. We did a great mission on that one, and we want to bring not just that back, but that with a twist, so that more people also just feel comfortable getting in their bodies and let it just feel, more like, yeah, I'm getting back in my body. A space for male or people that identify as masculine and want to be
Hmm.
in that space, but specifically we'll be offering that here because I don't think very many people do things for the masculine energy, and we forget about it, and it's kind of like to the side. And even sometimes I have to remind myself, like, oh man, we're really not making sure we keep balance. So um
Hmm.
I want to make sure that that's known as well. We'll be offering that here coming up really soon. It'll be there'll be a morning time offering, and there'll also be an evening time offering, so that
Okay.
whichever
Yes.
men's circle that people want to get in, they can get in there. Yeah.
I will be in that thing. Well, thank you again for coming, and again, make sure y'all go and follow Trey. I appreciate you so much for being able to participate in our creative live discussion, and knowing that you will be able to get a copy of this recording. And for anyone else that wasn't able to join, you are now seeing the recording. Be sure to follow us, probably because you're probably on YouTube. Follow us and watch some more of our creative live series, where you'll be able to hear other creatives talking about their journey throughout New Mexico and becoming the leaders in their organizations and starting some of their organizations. So thank you so much again, Trey, and I hope you have a good rest of your day.
Hey, you as well, and thank you.